Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we've got this MS361 chainsaw. It had damaged the cylinder and piston, probably running it on straight fuel. So we're going to be giving this machine a good wash and we're going to be repairing it, and then we'll also give it a good run. So let's go ahead and let's repair this machine. Right guys, so all the parts have now been washed and cleaned. See here, all nice and clean and ready for assembly. So guys, I'll see you in the workshop in a bit and we will start assembling this machine back together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take off the old piston. We'll just remove that little clip. Okay. And we'll hit out the pin. Right guys, so the piston is off. You can see the damage that this one had caused. With the bearing. Right guys, so now we're going to take out the cylinder and piston from the box. We've got a decompressor. Cylinder. Our rings. Gudgeon pin. Or E-clips. And our new piston. Right guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to install our little new clip onto the side of the piston. As you can see now, I've got our new clip in on the one side. Now we can put our piston onto the machine. So we're now going to put the other clip in. Okay. Now that that's done, we can now put our rings on. The top ring. That's what it looks like. Put our new base gasket on. Now that the piston is on, we can now move the manifold onto the new cylinder and also move the new decompressor onto the new cylinder as well. So we're just going to do that now. Clamp off. That one side. Put the new manifold rubber on. Looks something like that. And put the clamp on. Right, now for the decompressor. Put that on here. And I'll use 13 tube socket. Let's give that a little tighten up. Okay. Guys, so that's now the cylinder. We can now put this onto the machine. Then just make sure that your rings are in the correct grooves. We've set them. And the other one will be on the side. Over there. Okay, so we'll just give a little bit of lubrication. Make sure the whole inner cylinder is all lubricated. And we'll fit it on. Now that is now in. And then I'm just gently going to pull the rubber through like that. It will look something like that, what's come through. And then I'm going to put the bolts on into the cylinder. Now that the cylinder and piston is on, we're now going to put the handlebar onto the machine. The long screws onto the side. And the shorter ones at the bottom. And then one on top of the cylinder. Right, so I'll show you guys what it looks like. Something like that. Okay, so now that the handlebar is on and the cylinder is on, I'm now going to move on to the exhaust. We'll just put these screws through there. The other one. So we'll put this gasket on here. And then our plate. Let's get that other screw through. That. And then we can put it onto the machine. And we'll put our side screw on the side here. That is our exhaust on. So the next step I want to do is put on the starter. Tighten the screws up here. Right guys, so our starter is now on. We're now going to move on to the braking system. Guys, I've got a new brake lever here. I'm just going to unpack it. The other one was damaged. Take the bolt. Now we can start assembling the brake system. So we've got this, and then we've got this part here of the brake system, and that is now going to go inside the lever like that. And then we'll put it onto the chainsaw over there. Right, so before we put the brake lever on, I'm going to put this little spring back. Right, so it'll look something like that. And then we can now put our brake lever on. We'll put a little circlip on here. That. And then we can put our brake band on. Undo the screw on the side here. Push that in. And then put a little screw back in again. And then once we've done that, we can now put on our brake spring, which will be that side. Right guys, so our brake spring is now on. Now we can put the cover on. That. We put our little screws in. And the last one. Now put our clutch bearing on. Give that a bit of grease. Our clutch drum on. Sprocket. Washer. And then the circlip. That is a clutch drum on. Now that that's on, let's test the chain brake. That is functioning properly, and I'm happy with that. Now we'll move on to the carburetor side. Guys, I've had to strip off all this here so I can get the carburetor in. So we're going to push that inside there, like that. We can now put the top on. Now it is functioning properly. We can now put our lever on. This is now functioning properly. It's choking, and the throttle is now working properly. Now we'll put this cover on. That. And then this part here will come on next. And then the nuts. And we can just tighten those nuts up. We can now put our top cover onto the machine. Now we can fit our new spark plug. Now that the spark plug is in, we can now put on our air filter and the cover. Just like that. And then we can put on our bar plate. Right guys, so that is our MS361 fully assembled. So you can just see here on the exhaust side. And I'll bring it to the side view. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put some fuel in and we're going to start the machine. Guys, before we start it up, I'm going to now change the fuel filter. That's the old one. And this is our new fuel filter here. Put that in. Now we can put some fuel in. And we put some cutter bar in the side. Right guys, we're now going to start the machine. Give it another test. Right, and that's it guys. The machine is starting perfectly. Well guys, if you've enjoyed this video of me assembling this MS361, hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.